In case you've ever doubted me, the many, many times I've said that the government does not want to solve the drug crisis. The government does not want to solve the drug crisis. There's way too much money in it. In case you've ever doubted me when I've said that, I have further proof. This segment is brought to you in partnership with our friends over at Future 42. Turn your frustration into action at future42.org. All right, so as I said, I'm sitting on my couch on a Sunday, sweating. It was so hot this weekend. My tiny little air conditioner just doing its damnedest to keep up in the corner.
Are you complaining?
I hate the heat.
Stop
I'm
it.
sweating right now. My neck is sweating. Wow.
Great.
I know you love the heat, but I hate the heat. So I'm sitting there. I got a little air conditioner on me, and I'm watching Rush Hour, the original Rush Hour, for like the 19,000th time in my life, laughing, having a good time. And all of a sudden a commercial comes on. Now, I apologize. I rewound it and had to record it on my phone with my AC blasting in the background. But I couldn't find it online. So here's the commercial that I saw while I was minding my own business.
Most people who have lived through an opioid overdose have something in common. They didn't do it alone. Someone was there when they OD'd. Someone had naloxone. Someone called for help. So, if you use opioids like fentanyl, know who your someone is. Use with them when you can. Have naloxone with you. And make sure your someone is ready to help you if you need it. Just like you would for them.
Wow. So I watched that, rewound it a few times, watched it again. A couple things stand out. First, fentanyl users don't all look like that. Now, do I think that there are some people who use and abuse fentanyl who look totally normal and otherwise lead normal lives? Absolutely. I think there's people who die of fentanyl overdoses who thought they were having something else and it had fentanyl in it and they died. I'm not saying all fentanyl abusers are people who are sitting out at 3rd and Pine, shooting it between their toes and folded in half. I'm not. But the way in which that normalized fentanyl abuse, that short ad from the state of Washington, the Department of Health, was crazy to me. The other thing, of course, that all of you are probably screaming that's missing is any sort of suggestion that maybe the safest way to do fentanyl is not to do it. Any sort of mention of, hey, we can offer you help. We can get you connected to substance abuse services. Because the only real safe way to do fentanyl is not to do it. No, it was all about, hey, find a friend who'll watch you inject a deadly drug into your veins. Find a friend who'll be armed with a naloxone and will watch you do it and then bring you back to life so you can do it again. All with just these friends sitting on a couch and I've got your back, buddy. No, if you were their real friend, you wouldn't let them do it in the first place. So the whole commercial was crazy for me, but I thought, okay, let me go to this little website. So at the end, it had this website for Prevent Overdose Washington, and it's its own website. It's totally independent from the Washington Department of Health, although it's part of a campaign being run by the Washington Department of Health, yes, with your tax dollars. But I thought, let me just go there and act as if I am a fentanyl abuser who saw that commercial, who was also watching Rush Hour, just like Brandi, and saw that commercial and thought, yeah, I want to learn a little bit more about how to prevent overdoses because I'm about to shoot up fentanyl, right? So let's just say. So I thought, okay, maybe there's more to the website and it will ultimately act as a way to funnel these drug users into services. Because, right, that should be the goal of every single dollar that we spend toward the drug crisis and the fentanyl crisis. Even if it's a handout, quote unquote, harm reduction, that it should be constantly pushing them in the direction of getting help for their addiction, right? Can you put that website back up, Nicole? So Prevent Overdose WA, it has 4 key things you can click on. Where to find naloxone. So it'll give you a list of locations where you can go buy it or get it for free. It has a little part where you can learn how to use naloxone. So reversing an overdose, step-by-step instructions to help save a life. And then it has a segment, Safer Opioid Use, how to protect yourself or others who use opioids, which again, there's no such thing as safe opioid use. And then the 4th part of the website is more resources. So I thought, okay, there it is. There's something on here that's going to send people in the right direction to actually get help so they aren't using fentanyl, so they don't need to call a friend to stand by with their naloxone in case they die, right? Let's dive into this, shall we? You already know what's going to happen, but I just thought we'd do it together anyway. Let's act like we don't. So let's click on the first one. Tips for, well, the first two are obvious. Find naloxone, reduce an overdose. So those first two are literally just locations you can buy it. And then the other one is how to use naloxone. So we can skip over those, I think. Let's move to tips for safer opioid use. Okay. So it has a few. It has a few tips. The first one, carry naloxone. Okay, we already kind of covered that, right? That's kind of the point of the website, right? Use with others when you can. It's safer to use drugs around others and take turns when using. That way, if you or someone you're with begins to overdose, there is someone ready to give naloxone and find help. So these are your first two tips for safer opioid use, which again, there's really no such thing. All right, so they said if you can't use with others, if you have to use alone, here are 4 tips for you from, again, the Washington State Department of Health. Communicate. Whenever possible, tell someone you trust when you plan to use and where you'll be. Ah, yes, that's because that's what every undercover fentanyl abuser is doing, is they're calling their friend and saying, hey, you know, at home right now, just about to shoot up fentanyl. Just thought I'd let you know if you don't hear from me in 5 minutes, I'm probably dead. Don't think that's happening a lot. Stay accessible. Use somewhere you feel safe that also allows others to get to you or find you if you need help. Leave the door unlocked if possible and have naloxone nearby in case others don't have it on hand. Got it. A lot of steps there. Similar to when the Department of Social and Health Services or the Department of Children, Youth, and Families said, hey, if you're a drug-abusing parent, we'll give you a free lockbox so you can lock up your fentanyl syringes, as if anyone would ever think to do that. If you're dumb enough to use fentanyl around kids, you're probably not smart enough to lock it up before, during, and after. Here's the third tip. Again, taxpayer-funded tip from the Department of Health. The same people who made you wear masks for like 3 years while you were outside. Go low and slow. When using any drug, start with a small dose and wait to see how you feel before taking more. If you have taken a break from using fentanyl or other opioids and began using again, this could be especially important as your tolerance would have gone down. That is a tip from the Department of Health to go low and slow. Again, we're quite a ways into this website. And really, no effort to try to say, don't go at all. Don't do it at all. Here's the fourth safety tip for if you have to use alone. Try the Never Use Alone hotline. Ah, yes. There is a hotline you can call where a stigma-free volunteer will answer 24 hours a day, and they will stay on the line with you while you use to make sure you're okay. These are the safety tips that the Department of Health offers on its taxpayer-funded website that you're going to be met with if you watch the commercial like I did and you thought, let me learn more about that. Okay, so now we've gone through 3 of the 4 sections on this website. How to find naloxone, how to use naloxone, and the safety tips. Now, the 4th one gives me the most hope because the 4th chapter in this website is resources. I was like, okay, resources to get off drugs, right? right? Resources to get off drugs, obviously, because, you know, that's the safest way to do it. Let's check out their resources, shall we? First batch of resources, harm reduction. Harm reduction strategies, tips to prevent or respond to opioid overdoses. Opie Rescue, free overdose support tool that complements naloxone use. Substance use and pregnancy resources, guidance for individuals and families who may need help. Local services, Washington State Naloxone Finder. Syringe service program delivery. Oh, yeah. Find a syringe service program. And then it has talk support. Here it is, guys. The one thing on this website, on the entire website, that actually sends you to a place where you can talk to someone if you want treatment for your opioid abuse. They have the never use alone hotline again, of course, if you want to call someone who has to sit there on the phone while you inject a deadly drug into your body to see if it kills you. They have the suicide and crisis lifeline. And then they have the Washington Recovery Helpline. So like the fourth section into this website, at the very, very bottom, they have a helpline for substance use treatment services. The only thing on that entire website that suggests maybe you should get treatment for your opioid addiction. And that's the rabbit hole I went down after seeing that stupid commercial from the Department of Health paid for with your tax money. So never again doubt me when I tell you that they do not want to get people off drugs. It's one of the biggest money makers that they have. The homeless industrial complex and the drug industrial complex. They want people to stay in addiction. They don't care if you overdose as long as you can be brought back to life and overdose again. So they can continue to push out hundreds of millions of dollars in government contracts to their cronies and allies who they don't want you to get better either. Because then the gravy train stops coming in. Then the money stops coming in. And I get it, the Department of Health has probably had some other initiatives focused on getting people into treatment. But to be running, I reached out this morning to inquire about what the cost was to run ads during the movie Rush Hour. But I'm sure they're running ads elsewhere. How much money do you think they spent on this? Millions? Definitely millions. To build an independent website, to run TV commercials, telling people, hey, don't worry if you're addicted to fentanyl. Totally, that's awesome. Love it. Good for you. Just make sure maybe you tell someone, you have a friend nearby, you arm them with naloxone, and then have them watch you inject that deadly drug into your body. And if you don't have any friends, that's okay. We have a hotline. Call our hotline, and we'll have somebody sit there as you inject the drug. And then if you don't respond in a couple minutes, then maybe we'll call police, but police are scary, so maybe we'll just let you die. What do you want me to do with this? All because I saw a commercial yesterday.
It's pretty wild too, because that last graphic, so where the recovery line is under talk support, which to me that's like they're just gonna talk you into doing it for longer in
you think these people are gonna say, hey, maybe you don't need substance use treatment.
It's not
it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone.
Right.
You should just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Just keep doing it. You really think that they're going to give you the support you need? And look, I get it that just telling someone don't do fentanyl doesn't really work, I know that's been tried quite a bit. But this whole idea that we have all these resources, for instance, with naloxone, you have police officers who go out there, and I've watched them do it. I've done reporting with police who go out and are actively trying to bring someone back to life. And there's nothing on the back end. The people get up, they walk away. No requirement they go to the hospital. No requirement they have some sort of civil commitment, although the standard is supposed to be you're a threat to yourself or others. Yeah, pretty sure you're a threat to yourself if you're injecting a deadly drug into your body and you almost died and police had to bring you back to life. No mandatory connection to services. So we really just are bringing them back to life so they can go and try to kill themselves again. And your tax money is supporting that approach, the quote unquote harm reduction approach, which is anything but. Wild stuff. That segment was brought to you in partnership with our friends at Future 42. Turn your frustration into action at future42.org. They also have this new legislative scorecard feature that you can use, where you can take a look at how your state lawmakers voted on various bills of interest, in case that's something you're interested in tracking.